I'm Buzz269 from the European Dimension, here to bring you, this is the PICO Neo 3 Link, a standalone VR headset, and it is about to give the Quest 2 a serious run for its money. Right now, it's in a box, but at the end of this video, it won't be in a box anymore. So let's do it. Now, how do I turn this off? Hello players, so this is the unboxing and glamour shots and a quick rundown of the specs. I'm making more in-depth videos about using it when I've actually used it, so get subbed for those. So let's get into it. The front part of the box is nice and shiny. It's shiny, I like that. So on the back of the box we've got a rundown of the current games you can get. So on the back there you've got Neo 11, table tennis, After the Fall, Super Hot VR, Walkabout Mini Golf, and Puzzling Places. Now, we'll get into the games in probably another video, but for now, that's what's on the box. Okay, so here's a nice white box. Let's get into it. Okay, we have the Neo PICO 3 Link headset in there, and this is probably a box of accessories, all the controllers, and that is probably the same. No, the controllers are right there. So we'll lift this out. Now this feels fairly well balanced. The headset itself feels quite well built. I like this mechanism. That's a good ratchet sound. So the screens are 1832 by 1920, so that's 2K per eye, effectively 4K overall. So we'll see how that looks. This cushioning feels really nice. This it's kind of a fabric facial insert that feels quite nice. There's a warning label on there that says do not use in sunlight, so there is that. To my knowledge, these use the same screens as the Quest VR. The screens run at 72 Hz, 90 Hz, or 120 Hz, the same as the Quest 2. These controllers have got a fair bit of weight to them. They feel fairly comfortable and almost identical almost identical to the Quest 2 ones, but that tracking ring is slightly further away from your hands, and they take two AA batteries, and they come with two AA batteries, which is very nice to see. So the analog stick is nice and clicky. There's an extra face button there, so we've got the A, B, X, Y, two either menu or whatever PICO buttons, and two more. They're both minus buttons, but you know, maybe you need double minus, I don't know. The analog stick is clicky, and overall this feels fairly well built. I don't know if they're going to crack apart like the Quest 2, let's hope not. And that's it for the base part of the box. So it is running the Snapdragon XR2 with 6 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, same as the Quest 2. It also has 4 cameras, same as the Quest 2. You know, there seems to be a little pattern here. This head strap, I can already tell this is going to be much more comfortable than the Quest 2's standard stock strap, which is the same as the original Rift head strap. Do you remember the original Rift? Well, yeah, Facebook seems to have forgotten about it, but I'm really a big fan of this halo design, similar to the PlayStation VR and Rift S. I haven't tried any of the Vive headsets, so I can't comment on those for comfort, but I know that I like this. So it does have IPD adjustment, and you do it by moving the lenses. I'll do that later when I've taken this cover out, but you do have IPD adjustment in there, similar to the Quest 2's kind of setup. Now, it does have a DisplayPort link, which we'll get into a bit later, which is very exciting. That means, theoretically, full uncompressed video over DisplayPort, which is better than the Quest 2's link cable, because that the video signal is compressed on that one, so you may get artifacts or screen tearing and things like that, which shouldn't happen over uncompressed DisplayPort. Yay! DisplayPort master race. Okay, let's see what's in these accessory box. So, now I should mention that the controllers they look fine, but there is no hand tracking on the headset yet. But there is no reason that they couldn't perhaps do that in the future. Now, as far as I'm aware, the software on there is still in beta, so we'll have a look at that when we get to it. This is a DisplayPort connection guide. It in most European languages and Japanese and Korean, so that's fantastic, and Chinese. So that is telling you how to set up the DisplayPort cable. I don't know what this is. This looks like some kind of USB. No, it's an HDMI adapter. It's not an HDMI adapter. It is a DisplayPort adapter for something. I don't know what this is used for yet. It probably tells you in this instruction book right here, but yeah, we'll get to the instructions in a bit. So this is the DisplayPort cable for PC VR, because it also does PC VR, as you probably guessed from me saying DisplayPort about 35 times. So this is quite a lengthy cable. I'm not sure on the length of it yet. We'll get that measured. It's got DisplayPort on one end, along with a USB Type A, and right on the other end is the DisplayPort cable, that Type C DisplayPort cable that will go into the headset. So that is pretty cool. Now it does have some kind of screw locking mechanisms, so it's kind of reminiscent of the old VGA days, screwing in those cables, but it does come with a screwdriver to secure it, so that's pretty cool as well. Also, we have got a box of boxes. No, it is just... Okay, so we've got the EU adapter, because this is currently only available in Europe. Well, it just released for the UK, which is where I'm from. Currently not available in the US yet, so there's that. This is the USB Type-C charging cable, nothing exciting there. And this looks like a facial insert. Now, there is a glasses spacer, so that's probably what this is. So for keeping the lenses further away from your glasses, if that's a problem, that's probably what this is for. So we'll see how that goes. I have some glasses I can test with in the future. And this is probably more instructions. Yep, the user guide. So warranty and safety guide, and the user guide that will take you through those. And this is wrist straps for the controllers, because if you don't have wrist straps, you're mad. You're a mad person, basically, and I have absolutely no respect for you whatsoever. Okay, so the price is 449 euros or 399 pounds. That puts it on exactly the same price point as the Quest 2, but with some nice additions like the head strap and the uncompromised, uncompressed DisplayPort. So let's do a tour of the headset. On the front, we've got 4 tracking cameras. There's the screw hole there for the DisplayPort connection, DisplayPort hole there, charging port for USB Type-C. Now the DisplayPort and the charging port are both USB Type-C, and I'm guessing neither one of them is interchangeable. That may lead to some confusion, probably why they got the DisplayPort cover on that one. We've got a power button to the right of that. This grill is for ventilation, so hopefully you won't get too steamed up playing. Well, you won't be playing Beat Saber. Well, you could with the link cable, I suppose. There's another minus button here. I don't know what the minus button does, but it's there. We have possibly a menu select button that doesn't feel like a rocker button. It just feels like a big button, and a PICO button. There on the bottom side, we've got the volume control, and it looks like a 3.5mm jack for headphones, and the microphone socket above that. Inside the headset, we are looking at a sensor for obviously sensing when your face is inside this lovely hole. Right, let's tidy some of this up. And as if by editing magic, here we are. You know, for so long, people have been saying, oh, nobody can compete with Facebook or Meta on pricing for the Quest 2, because, you know, and that's the reason that you need a Facebook account, because they can make the difference back on the cost of the headset by selling it so cheap by, you know, selling your data or using your data, and that's how they can keep the cost down. Well, this is it. This is the competitor. This, you know, the specs are almost identical. You get kind of more for your money with this kind of elite style head strap as standard, and the uncompressed DisplayPort cable. No Facebook ban hammer over your head waiting to brick your headset. You know, this really is, it's Xbox versus PlayStation, it's AMD versus Intel, it's Pepsi versus Coke. This is the real competitor to the Quest 2. Well, we have succeeded in our mission and everything is out of a box, which is good. So I need to go and try this right now. I've got a few more videos planned on this, how it performs standalone, how it performs with the PC link and the wireless link, other tips and features you can do with it. So stay tuned for those, and I will see you in the metaverse. No, no, that's way too cringy. Stop it, Zuckerberg. Sexy Tech is the late night tech talk show for grown-ups. Check it out with the link in the video description.